Ramesham bhaje Ramena Vihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittare Sada Bhutame Bhora Mama Muddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasanama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane Ayun Rulrak Ayong Ayauch Hayavarat Lan Nyamangananam Javan Garadash Jabagaradash Kapha Chata Chata Tav Kapai Shashasar Hal Iti Mahasha Sutrani. Kalpesh, you're okay? The recording?
It's fine.
We're fine. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I think we are on this verse number 17 now. Let us look at this one. I think we briefly discussed last time. Let me, I should open my document also. Let me open my document. Let's see, Panini links, Thursday class. Okay. I hope all of you reading this document because I'm trying to keep it as clean as possible. See if you can edit or post questions. I can Kalpesh has kindly agreed to be like kind of moderator on the postings. So if you have any questions about the lessons or something is wrong, anything, please post, because the earlier we correct, the better it is. The earlier we correct, the better it is. So people can, we don't want any errors. Okay. So in fact, Kalpesh has also put now the shloka in the document itself, so that will reduce the size of the recording files. It makes it easier for people to download afterwards. So Udyataika bhujayashtim yatim shoni lambi purushantra mekhalam tam vilokya vanita vade granam patrina saha mumocha raghavaha. So one more time. So as mentioned too many times, even if you don't understand anything, keep on reading loudly, clearly, slowly, one syllable at a time. That is another beautiful way to learn the whole language, get the feel for it, and hopefully grammar will come behind. That's how we learned English, So we can learn this, but it requires a lot of reading, a lot of practice. So, Udyadaika bhujayashtim mayatim shroni lambi purushantra mekhalam tam vilokya vanita vadhe granam patrina saha mumocha raghavaha. So, if you do the padachhedaha, Udyataika bhuja yashtim ayatim shoni lambi purushantra mekhalam is the samastam padam, is one compound. Tam vilokya vanita vadhe, again another compound. Granam patrina saha mumocha raghavaha. If you go inside the compounds, it's Udyata eka bhuja yashtim. Then shroni lambi purusha antra mekhalam. So that's inside the compound. So the main sentence is that Raghavaha mumocha. Raghavaha mumocha. Now this is of course a lit lakara. I think now we can go a little bit faster because we've been doing this for a little while now. So the lit lakara, if we do the abhyasa takes place in lit by the niti dhatu anabhyasasya. Niti dhatu anabhyasasya. So that's in 6.1. Panini talks about when should abhyasa be done in this language. There are only about 4 or 5 important rules there. And the first one is liti dhatu anabhyasasya. So when lit pratyaya is there, abhyasa should be done. It should be done only one time. And that one I think is 6.1, probably 6.1.6. No, 6.1.8, sorry. So 6.1.8, 9, 10, 11. Actually only 4 rules to tell you when abhyasa should be done, with the 4 main rules. So first one is liti dhatu anabhyasasya. So the moment you do it much plus lit, that lit, of course the second step is always make tip tasji as the case may be. In this case it is tip. Now in the case of parasmapadam in the lit is that, again I'm not putting the document because we've done this many times now, is the tip tasji become respectively null atus us. Null atus us. And all these substitutions which are based on the lakara, they come in 3.4. See, many of the pratyaya adeshas come in 7.1, But the ones which are, lakara sambandhi adeshaha, they come in the tritiya adhyayasya chaturtha pade, antabhage, charamabhage. At the end they come from the lasya adhikara prabhriti. From there it starts from lasya adhikara. So one of the very well down here is parasmai padanam nal atus us thal atus nal vamaha. As I mentioned to you in the lit, we have parokshe lit. Parokshe lit. So it's parokshe lit means it is not in the recent past. I'm sorry, it was not experienced. Parokshe means, it is not experienced by the speaker. And it is also anadhyatane. Anuvritti is coming up anadhyatane. So it is a kind of remote past tense usage. So that is why the lit lakara is only limited to the third person, prathama purusha. So 99% of lit is going to be, well, whatever, at least 98, 99% is going to be only third person. In Gita, only one usage is there of lit, which is not third person, and that is a bit of a strange usage. But otherwise, mostly 90%, more than 95% is going to be third person. So you only remember the nal atus us. Nal atus us. Please keep this in your mind, because if you think it's lit lakara, you think it's parasmai padam, then you should have one of these endings, nal atus us, of course. So 3482, put that here, and I put this many times. Let's do it one more time. Is the 3482 changes the tip tasji to nal atus us. Tip tasji to nal atus us. So the very, and of course the tip is the most common one. Next is the plural form, and the dual forms are much less common. So I think we did have a couple of, in Raghuvamsham we had a couple of them. So changes to null. Now in the null, if you remove the it letters, we have halantyam and the chutu. So anubandha lope akaraha avashishyate. Only akara is left behind. Then you have the atus, and then you have us. So in our shloka right now, we have the form mumocha. This comes in Devi Mahatyam, the form mumocha comes in the fourth adhyaya Devi Mahatyam comes the form mumocha. See, in Gita, there are not also that many lit usages, because it's a dialogue between, Sri Krishna and Arjuna, and so this is the present tense dialogue for the most part. So unfortunately in Gita, you don't get that much lit practice. You don't get. In fact, in the Gita, the Atmanepadam lit is really not there. There is no Atmanepadam lit in the Gita. So I think I'm pretty sure of that. So unfortunately, you do not get any Atmanepadam lit practice in Gita. Of course, Atmanepadam is less common, but still there are very few, besides the Vacha, of course, which happens all the time, there are not that many lit usages in Gita. So you have to practice lit from more like the Puranas and, the Ramayanam and things like that. Mahabharatam is full of lit. Okay, so now we have the mumocha. So you can see the ending a. You can see the ending a. Now in abhyasa, when we do much, you get haladi sheshaha. Again, I mentioned this many times. I'll do it one more time. Is that at the end of, towards the end of 7.4, all the abhyasa niyamaha, except for one rule, which is abhyasa charcha, which comes in 8.4. Otherwise, all the abhyasa rules come in one nice small place. The point I'm trying to make to you is that even though if you don't know all the rules, doesn't matter. If you know enough to kind of make a very good guess, that's okay. Then you can look up the other rules, and you can, once you know the dhatu, if you know the lakara, hopefully, if you can confirm the abhyasa for yourself, that is good enough. You may not know all the detailed rules, but you should have enough pieces so you can try to attack the problem and look it up. You don't have to memorize all the rules. But abhyasa rules give you the good bang for the buck. We have just a few rules which are used in many, many places. And here we have, starting from here, from 7.458, atra lopo abhyasasya. The atra lopo abhyasasya, anuvritti of abhyasasya goes up to apada samaptehe, up to the end of the padam. You have the up to the end of 7.4, the abhyasasya anuvritti goes there. And within this section, the common rules of abhyasa are given in the first part. then specific abhyasa rules come below that. For example, from 7468, saj vyatho liti. So this is only for lit abhyasa in lit. But up to this 67, in fact, really the ones that you want, and I'm repeating a lot, but I like to repeat a lot, so hopefully you hear it so many times that the moment you say abhyasa, you have to come to this 7458 onwards. And the important rules are 59, 60, even 61 if you want, you can skip, then 62 and 66. So 7459, 60, so rasvaha, haladi sheshaha, kuhoshchuhu, and urat. So even if you do just do these 4 rules, 59, 60, and the 62, 66. I'll put in a document maybe. 59, 60, 62, 66. Just do these 4 rules if you can. 59, 60, 62, 66. Okay. So important rules. And what is abhyasaha? Is purva abhyasaha. When you make duplicates, the left-hand side is called abhyasaha. So abhyasa niyamaha. Of course, there are many detailed rules, but the important you start with is 7, 4, 59, 60, and just do these 4 only, 62, 66. The first one says is that if you look at 59, it says that rasvaha. So in the abhyasa, a vowel becomes rasvaha. Then 60 says haladi shesha, which you're going to use right now. Dhatu is much, haladi sheshaha. So hal shishyate adischet. So if hal remains only if it's the first. Anye halaha lupyante. The other hals are lost. So in much we have the chakara which is not in the adi position. So it's going to take lopaha. Only ma will remain. The 62 says the ka varga and hakara become cha varga, which we don't have right now. And then the urat says that the r or l become the akara in abhyasa, urat. So, those are the 4 rules. So going forward, we'll just use these 4 rules. You know where they are. So now let's finish our form. So nothing. We are almost done now. So we had much. So we made it much. Mu in the abhyasa by applying the haladi sheshaha, and then we have much, then we have the pratyaya null which became a, and the only thing we have is, so I already applied 7460, and we of course we applied the 3482, 7460, and one more thing to remember is that the lit lakaraha, what happens is that even though we have ting shit sarvadhatukam ardhadhatukam sheshaha, but there are 2 exceptions to that, and one is litcha and linga shishi. Is in the lit, if the tiptas ji are coming in place of the lit lakara or in the ashi ling, in the tiptas ji themselves become ardhadhatuka pratyayas. That is why you don't get any kartari shap. You do not get any shap because shap and its apavadas can only come when it is sarvadhatuke. Right now, and this is the end of 3.4, we have this sutram which says litcha and linga shishi. Litcha and linga shishi. I'll keep repeating these at least for the next few months, and hopefully then later on we can start skipping some of these. So linga shishi, because they're all very important concepts. You will say, why did we not get kartari shap? Maybe. This dhatu much is the 6th gana. So the tudadi gana, why we get the sha pratyaya then? Because that can only come sarva dhatu. Okay? And the litcha is saying it's going to be, this pratyaya is going to be ardhadhatukam. So, so that is what now last sutram, of course, which is the puganta laghupadasya cha. Puganta laghupadasya cha. And that one is you're going to do the guna of this lagu upadha. Here also one you should check is that these lit pratyayas, if they don't have the pa as an it, they don't come in place of either the tip, sip or mip. And if there's no sanyoga preceding that, then they'll become asanyoga lit kita. So that will I'll go through that in a second. So let's make the much into moch. moch, by applying the uganta laghupatasya cha, uganta laghupatasya cha. And that is, of course, 7386. It says if you have pratyaya which is sarvadhatukam, sarvadhatuka pratyaya or ardhatuka pratyaya, either one. And if you have a upada which is laghu, laghu means it has to be rasvaha and not no sanyoga following, because sanyoga becomes guru. The u is a rasva saraha, and it is also followed by no sanyoga. That's going to make it into take the guna. Now the sutra I was mentioning was asanyoga litkita. Asanyoga litkita says that if you have no sanyoga prior to the lit pratyaya, which we didn't have because we had much plus a. No, there was no sanyoga prior to that a. But apit lit kit syat. If it is apit lit only, it becomes kit. Apit lit kit syat. So in the atus and the us, they would have become kit, and then 115 will stop the guna. So right now the guna was not stopped because null came in place of the tip. The tip had pers in it, and because thanivad bhavaha, this null pratyaha was a pit pratyaha, and so we did not apply the 125. So 125 did not apply, but that you should always check 125. The moment you have any lit pratyaha, check 125 to see if it is kitvat. If it becomes kitvat, then 115 will stop any guna operation or with any. So that you have to be careful of that. So I'll put that in the document also. So 125 did not apply. I'll put it like this maybe, because 125 did not apply. So always check asanyoga litkita. 125 did not apply because this null came in place of tip, which had the which of course has the pers in it, which is just say pit. Okay, so that completes the lakara form. From the lakara form, I like to go in detail because they are the heart of Panini. So if you can understand them and use them, hopefully that will be great practice. And they're extremely good. You got the meaning of the sentence, the Raghavaha Mumocha. So Ramaha let go something. What did he let go? You see the word granam over here, granam. And in the commentary, let's go to Malinathana, what he says. He says is that granam is jugupsam karunam va. Jugupsam karunam va. So karuna form is like pity, and jugupsa like disgust. So disgust or pity. In fact, what we can do if you want, we can inaugurate our Apti dictionary. I hope you are using that, because to save time, I have not been referring to it too much. But let us look at that. I hope you're using the links in this Kalpesh's nice page, which gives us all the links. So let us go there and let's see what it says for the word jugupsa. So jugupsa actually is a special word. Even the dhatu gup normally means to like protect or conceal, gopanam. But jugupsa takes a special meaning, and it is means to like to find something disgusting. Now let me what I'll do is that let me go here and make the word jugupsa, and jugupsa, because Malinatha is expecting us to know the word jugupsa. Any word in the commentary, you should know that, because that is what has been given by the commentator to make it easy for us. So those words you should definitely try to understand them, because they are not going to be very complicated words generally. So jugupsa, let me try that. Jugupsa. Even here we have duplication. The dhatu gup has taken duplication, and actually gupsa is sananta prayagaha. And then, I told you that sutram kuhoshchuhu, the 7462, that has happened. Is that the ka varga has become cha varga in abhyasa by the kuhoshchuhu. That was the 7462. Anyway, let's see what Apteji says for jugupsa. Jugupsa. Okay, let me try. Let me come here and see, look for the word jugupsa. And I normally like to learn only the word starting with, and only use search words starting with. Okay, let's see. There should be only one word jugupsa in there. Jugupsa. Okay, here it is. Yeah, jugupsa. Okay, let's see what he says. Censure, reproach, dislike, disgust. Okay, so that's what I meant in disgust. Disgust. Okay, so because this word grana has two meanings, so Malinatha gave us both of those meanings, so we can choose them. He says, Jugupsa karune grane iti amaraha. So all these Shabdakoshas have to be studied in order to get the shades of meaning, different varieties of meanings and synonyms. Amar Kosha, of course, is one of the most famous, Shabda, what do you call the Shabdakosha. So he says, Jugupsa karune grane. Jugupsa karune is a feminine dual form, Jugupsa karune. So it can either mean disgust or pity, So, and that's what Malinatha says, Granam, Jugupsam Karunam. Wow. Jugupsa. And it's also increased the vocabulary. So next time you have the word Jugupsa, you should remember this Amar Kosha Vachanam, Jugupsa Karune Grane. A lot of people memorize Amar Kosha. Even now in Maharashtra, other places also, we have these Amar Kosha competitions, People come and chant Amar Kosha. Of course, now very few than before, but still, Amar Kosha should always be at your reference at all times, Amar Kosha. That should be your first stop in looking at etymology of words, meanings of words, shades of words. Amar Kosha is very, Okay, and Amar Kosha, of course, follows Panini very closely, the commentaries, so it is very Panini friendly. That's the one you want to have. Okay, so Raghavaha Grunam Mumocha. Then Patrina Saha. We already have we had the word Patrin before. Now this word Patrin has taken a different meaning over here. And the meaning here is taken, what is Malinatha says? Patrina equals Ishuna Saha. Patrina equals Ishuna. So, and as I said to you, you don't have to be scared of these big commentaries and many volumes of books and commentaries. If you want to know what the word Patrina means, there's only one single word given by the commentator, which is Ishuna. Even though it might be a 10-volume set, doesn't matter. You're looking for one single word. And for that word, you probably have only one or two words or maybe a line at the most. So you don't have to be scared of these big books, because you look at only small pieces. You have only a question about Patrina. Then if you're reading Gita, you question about one single word. So you can go through 8 or 9 commentaries very quickly. Just look at that word only, what they are saying. So Patrina equals Ishuna Saha. So this is, of course, the poetic thing of Kalidasa. We say that he let go. One is a mental release. One is a physical release. But of course, he puts it back to back. That's poetically. So he let go his arrow. And along with his arrow, he let go this the pity or disgust, which was connected with killing a woman. That's what he says. So mentally he released that, he let go of that disgust or pity. Along the same time he let go the arrow. So now again he quotes Amar Kosha. Patri ropa ishurdvayoho. So Patri is the masculine form Patrin. And Patrin is one that has Patram. Patram means can be leaves, it can also be like in feathers, So I think Patrin is probably because in the bottom part of the arrow, they have these feathers, So one which has, so Patrani Santi Asya. So it is a Matuparthya Pratyaha, Patrin. The Ini Pratyaya comes by Ata Ini Thanau. I mentioned in Tadita land, we have a nice section which is called Tadasyasti Asmin Niti Matup. Tadasyasti Asmin Niti Matup. And that starts from 5.294. So which is to the end of 5.2. So anytime you have these possession affixes in Taditas, which are very common, like a word like Bhagavan, word like Shriman, word like Bali. So these all come in end of 5.2. And there Paniya Sutram is Ata Inithanau. Ata Inithanau. So when you have Adantam Mangam, then you can use the Pratyaya Ini to make the possession sense. The word is Patra plus Ini. Patra plus In. So you start from 5 to 94. So please mark this section. which is say tadasyasti asmin niti matup. The one who has this, or in him or in that, this can be found. So maybe even either one, I think, which can work over here. So on the arrow you can find these feathers. So and then the default pratyaya is matup, but then comes the atayini thanau is 52115. 52115. So so let me just put in the document 52115 is the atayini thanau. Okay. So the word patrin is what we're trying to derive. Patrin. And that's the pratyaya is ini is equal to patra plus ini. So ini anubandha lope only in remains, because you got the upadesha jana nasika it. And then here what happens is that the angam gets the bhasanya because of yachibham. Anytime you add tadita pratyaya, always ask if the angam is getting the padasanya or bhasanya. The padasanya is the default, which is by the swadishva sarvanamasthane. Swadishva sarvanamasthane. So swadi pratyaya start from 412. They go all the way to the end of the 5th adhyaya. Not only the 21 sup ending which you are used to, but all the stri pratyaya and also tadita pratyaya, which is a huge section. They're all called swadi by Panini. So swadishva sarvanamasthane. Asarvanamasthane. Sarvanamasthane only comes in those first 21, the first 5 in masculine or feminine, and only the nominative accident dual in the neuter. So everything else, asarvanamasthane, the angam gets the padasanya. But the next sutram says yachibham, yachibham. So again, the anuvritti of is coming down. So swadishva sarvanamasthane, yachi. So yachi means a pratyaya beginning with a yakara or an ach. And the angam gets the bhasanya, yachibham, which is what we have. So when you add any tadita pratyaya, the angam is going to get either the bhasanya or the padasanya. And if you get the bhasanya, then go to 6.4. From 6.4.129 starts adhikara bhasya. And there might be some sutra which applies there. So that entire adhikara has to be checked. The moment you have a bhasanya, this computer program is going to trip that routine of 6.4.129 to end of 6.4. If you have padasanya, then go to the padasya pada adhikara in 8.8.1 it starts. So all those rules have to be checked. So the number is yachibham is 1418, and right now we need the yul yasyeti cha. Yasyeti cha. That is 64148. It says that ivaranantasya avaranantasya bhasanyakasya angasya lopasyat tadhite ikare chapare. So if you have a tadita pratyaya or the long e of the feminine affix, if the angam ends in avarana or ivarana or avarana, and if it's a bhasanya, then it takes lopaha, means alone jasya, that avarana or ivarana drops away. So we have patra plus ini plus in, we have a bhasanya, yachibham, and therefore that ending of patra is going to go away. Otherwise we would have had ad gunaha right now. So we would have ad gunaha, which we don't want. So by using I just put the numbers here, 1418 along with the 64148, we can now get the form patrin. And of course, then finally you can get the nattam by the 842, which it changes na to na, because the nimittam is, let's just finish that also. So patrin, okay. Now what happens is that when you do patrina, when you add this patrin plus a, then we are going to get the na will change to the murdhanya nakaraha by the atkapvam num yavayevi, which is 842. 842 is telling us that if you have the nimittam, which is either the ra, the repha, or the murdhanya shakara, or the r, that can cause the na to change to na, as long as it is samana pade. And also we can have some intervention of some letters in any combination. We include the at pratyahara, the ka varga, the per varga, these can combine to intervene. So at, nyum, also the anuswar also can intervene. So what do we have right now? We have patra. So between the nimittam, which is the repa, and the karyam, which is the na, we have only the e intervening, patrin, right? So we have always, what you can do is that you can try to expand the whole string to make it clear in your mind. And so we have patra, plus you have e, plus you have the na, and plus you have a. So between the repa, which is nimittam, and the na, which is the karyam, you only have the intervention of the e, and that e comes in the at pratyahara. So at, ku, pu, and in ang, num, vyavayapi. So by 842, we're going to get the. So let me try to change this. Trying to highlight this one. That will give us the change from na to na. And from change from na to na, there are only 39 rules from 841 to 8439. Spanini talks about when the na changes to na. So here we use 842. 842 changes the na to na. Okay, so that's the important rule. It changes the na to na. Okay. All right, so Patrina, let's go back to Shloka, what we have. And so, yes.
So this theoretically, do we have a su there and then we do the Suparati Pratipatikayoho?
Let me go back to that.
For all the you start Patra plus su and then.
Yes. So tad asyasti asminnati. So tad is Pratipadikam, right? So if you look at the theoretically, we have to bring in the su and take it away. Yes, you're right. You're right. Because the project, even when we add Tadisa Pratyaya also, technically we have to bring in the su in the because tadasya asti asminnati. So tat. So patrani santi asya. So we should have added the patra, plus you have to add the pratyaya just over here, and then add the in, because the one which has these feathers. So feathers, that's a plural form, that just has to, you have to bring in that the su pratyaya. But as Kalpesh said, by the 2471, the supo dhatu pradipatika yoho, that just pratyaya also drops. But yes, technically you have to bring that in, take it away, and then do the meaning of the words. So because the pratyaya. So actually this all comes in. So let me put that number also. Is you can use the 2471. Yes. So to be technically correct, we have to bring in that sup, whatever the appropriate sup is, and then take it away, and then you can do the all the remaining kind of work. See, all this comes in the just to give you the reference to the Bhaimi Vyakhya. It all comes in the chapter in book number 5 of Shastriji, which I think in this class hopefully all of you probably have Bhaimi Vyakhya, or if not, please get it. And I'm looking at volume number 5. You can confirm all, because he does very it's looking at page 300. At page 300 starts the sutram is there, Tadasyasti Asminiti, and the way that Shastriji does that is, as Kalpesh mentioned, is the go plus, so he brings the just pratyaya. So just pratyaya has to be brought over there. Okay, so thank you. So that's technically, that is correct. So use 2471 into bracket, I'll put me into bracket, remove just, and then you can do the remaining. Okay. So yeah, so let's go back to the verse, and we have the now Grinam is Vanita Vadhe. Vanita Vadhe. Now why am I going to the second half of the shloka, not taking the first line? The first line is only a clause called stam, and it has two adjectives. Udyataika bhujayashtim, in fact 3 of them. Ayatim, Shoni Lambi Purushantra Mekhalam, Tam Vilokya. So there ends the clause. So having seen her who was such and such, Then he released the arrow. So the releasing the arrow is the mukhya ansha. That's the main part. The other one is only a clause. That's why I'm taking that part first. And as I mentioned, to take the verb first, that we can attack the shloka very, very easily. So now vanita vadhe is there any commentary on that vanita vadhe? He says stri vadha nimitte. So vanita is equal to stri. So again, build your vocabulary. So this is what he's saying. This is a Vishaya Saptami. Vishaya Saptami. So Saptami comes, even though Panini is only Adhikaranam, Saptami Adhikarane. Adhikaranam can be mainly of main three types. One is, Deshe, Kale, Vishaye. So this is Vanita Vadhe, means in the matter of, in reference to, with regard to killing a woman. So Vanitayaha Vadaha is Vanita Vadaha. And Tasmin Vishaya, Tannimitte. So he's telling you, first of all, that Vanita equals Stri, a woman. And secondly, he's telling you that this is this Nimitta Saptami, Vishaya Saptami. And that means that relating to, in the subject matter of that. Okay. So he's telling you what kind of Saptami it is. He's also trying to help you with the word Vanita. In case you don't know the word Vanita, he's telling Stri Vada Nimitte. Okay. Now, as I said to you, there's a clause behind there. Is Tam Vilokya. Tam Vilokya. Dhatu, I think, is Lokru only. So I think Lokayati, I believe, is 10th Gana Dhatu. So what happens is that when we have actually the Pratyaya is Ktwa. The Ktwa is that, Panini says that Samana Kartika Yoho Purva Kale. When you have two Kriyas which have Samana Karta, then the Purva Kala Vartini Kriya, that is the one which takes this Pratyaya Ktwa. For example, Bhuktva Vrajati, having eaten, he goes. Snatva Likhati, so having bathed, he writes. So very, very common usage, right? So Yadgatva Nivartante Tadhama Paramamama, very, very common in many places. Very useful construct because it gives you a very good structure on the sentence very quickly. So you know there's Samana Karta, you know there are two Kriyas going on, and you got the Purvavartini Kriya, which means you have a clause there. You can even skip that Purvavartini Kriya for the time being. Just focus on the main Kriya. So clearly here Raghavaha is the Samana Karta, and Uttaravartini Kriya is Mumocha. So having seen, he released. Having seen. Or seeing, you can also say seeing her, he released. Seeing her, he released. So the sutram we have is Samana Kartikayoha Purva Kale, the Pratyaya is Ktva. But if you get a compound formation, the Ktva becomes Lyap. Ktva becomes Lyap. Samase Anyang Purve Ktvo Lyap. And that Lyap only comes if it's Anyang Purve. So when you have the Nyan Tat Purusha, negation Tat Purusha, then it does not become Lyap. For example, it's a Kritva, but Akritva. It not become Akritya. Akritva only become. So the Tva does not become Lyap. If the compound is simply the Nyan Tat Purusha, the Tva does not become Lyap. But in all other compound formation, it will become Lyap. And mainly the compound will be with this Upasargas most of the time. So the Tva becomes Lyap. So let me just give you some numbers here. So Samana Kartika Yoho Purva Kale, that will come in the Dhato Adhikaraha. Then the substitution will come in the 7.1. So this is the Panini system, right? He puts the Pratyaya in third Adhyaya, and then he will make the substitution in the 7th Adhyaya, 7.1. So 3.4.21 is the Samana Kartika Yoho Purva Kale. So 3.4.21 is the main sutram. And now remember the Lyap comes in place of Ktva. So that will have by Sthanivat Bhava, it will have the Kaz and it. Even though the Lyap itself does not have Kaz and it, this one, because of the, it came in place of Ktva, it gets that property of the Kaz and it. So it's very important to start with, to go through all the steps. Don't skip any steps. Don't bring the Lyap immediately. Because if there is any guna, anything to be done, then you will be stuck with that. So, because you have to retain the sthanivat bhava. So when something comes in place of something, it takes the properties of the item. When the pratyaya comes in place of another pratyaya, it retains the properties of the one it replaced. Okay, so that's why you have to start from the beginning. Samana Kritikayoha Purva Kale 3-4-21. And then you go to, I think, 7-1 around 30, 36 or something, 735. Pani says, so because I mentioned to you that all the Pratyaya Adeshaha, they come in the Saptamasya Adhyayasya Pratamapadasya Pura Bhage. The beginning of that, you have all the Pratyaya Adeshaha Labhyante. So it should be here. This Samase Anyang Purve Kto Lyap. So 7-1-37. And even before all of this dhatu lok is a churadikana dhatu. So before this lok can be used, you have to have the nich pratyaya come in there, because no dhatu in churadi can be used until you add the nich pratyaya, because the nich is nityam. It is swarthe nich. So churadibhyo nich, you have to add the nich, and this lokru darshane is actually I take it back. It's also in the bhvadigana also. Okay, so lokru darshane is in the bhvadigana, then you don't need the nich. So I guess you can form the, okay. So then we can directly go and make the, we could take the 3-4-21, and we had the V lok plus twa. So let's take that V lok, and then of course the V is a pruthak, is really is separate. But if you want to go in a compound, lok plus twa. And then we replace that's 3-4-21. That's the dhatu adhikaraha. And then use the 7-1-37 to replace the and because of the anekalshit sarvasya, the lyap is the anekal adesha, because the ya with the is the adesha. Because anekalshit sarvasya, the entire tva goes away and becomes the lyap, to lyap. Okay, lyap. Of course, in the lyap, because of the halantyam and lashakvatadjite, only the ya remains behind, so vilokya. Okay. Okay, so now that brings it back into the clause. Now we are into the clause, and let's see what the clause is. That tam vilokya. Now let's try to follow the commentary. Okay, now that we got the gist of the sentence, it says that this tam has 2 or 3 adjectives. Let's try to figure these out. It says ujjata equals unnamita, then ekaha bhujaha eva yashtihi yasyaha tam. So now we can simplify this fellow for time being. We got the whole Vigraha Vakyam. Within the Vigraha Vakyam, Malinatha gives some Paryaya Shabda also to make it easy for us. The first one, he says ujjata equals unnamita. So, okay, let's inaugurate Gita for the day. Word Ujjata in Gita, anybody? Anybody? Ujjata in Gita, anybody? Nobody? Somebody's trying to Gita. One more. Okay, Adhyaya 11. Anybody? Ujjata. You guys should know this. Anekodjata ayudham. Anekodjata ayudham. When Sanjaya sees the Vishwarupam, he says it has many raised weapons. Anekodjata ayudham. So Ujjata comes in Gita, in fact in the very beginning, because first Sanjaya starts commenting on this Vishwarupam, and then below that Arjuna Vacha comes below that. But in the very first 2-3 shlokas, when Sanjaya says this Anekodjata ayudham, Avedhyakapadithitha, it will come in, here it is, number 10. Aneka divya bharanam divya anekodjata ayudham. So it has many divine raised weapons in that form. So ujjata ayudham. Same thing, ujjata means raised, unnamita. So number 10, so Gita is so Gita we have in 11.10, you get the form ujjata ayudham. We have ujjata ayudham. Ujjata ayudham. Okay, so now what he's saying is that, what Mulinatha is telling us is that ujjata equals unnamita. Unnamita. So he has converted that to you for, he has used a different, also very good for learning vocabulary, These commentaries are really very useful to learn the proper usage of this language. Because these are scholars that, know exactly which words to use, how to use them. And so sometimes in the poetry or in the, in the Mula Grantaha, there might be some little bit compromise being made on the language. But in the commentary, the language will be extremely pure and correct. And there will not be any grammatical compromises in the commentary itself. So in a way, the commentary is actually better to learn the language than the Mula Grantha, because of the fact that they will keep it simple for us, and they will also not play any games with the language in the commentary. So Udyata Unnamita. So what has he done for us? Ud plus yam was the dhatu. Ud plus yam. He changed that to mean unnam with the nich pratyaya in there. Because unnamita is a causative form. Is a causative form. So yam is to control, is to restrain, But the udyama is to exert also. Udyamaha means also, means exertion. But he's making sure that you understand that in this case, udyama is not meaning to exert, but means to lift, to raise. See, nam is to bow down. Unnam is to rise, is to lift up. So unnamita means raised. Raised is the and let me give this quickly give a couple of sutras here. So he is making this, and one more thing I told you is the commentator will not waste any words. Will not waste any words. The fact that he has told you unnamita means he has a reason to tell you that. If it's a very straightforward meaning, he will not waste any words. Should always ask the question, is why is the commentator telling me that? What is the reason why he's making it clear for me? And the reason many times may be that the dhatu udyam may have various meanings. May have, or it might be a rare dhatu, it may not be a common word, or it might be which has different meanings. And that's why he'll make it clear for you. So one of the words udyama could also mean to exert. So here it means raised. So he has converted udyam to unnam plus nich. Unnam plus nich. So that's what the conversion that he has done for you. He's maintained the same pratyaya, nishtha pratyaya has been maintained, but ud plus yam has been converted to ud nam plus nich. That's what he has done. Now, quick sutras now. In udyata, we had ud yam plus ta. First of all, this is what's called as the taktavatu nishtha panini. So this nishtha is a technical term which means the pratyakta and ktavatu. And the sutra nishtha comes in the, as I mentioned to you, Panini starts this adhikara of bhute, vartamane, and bhavishyati, and he takes them in the chronological order, kalakramena. So I think 3-84 is this sutram which says is adhikara of bhute starts from there, bhute. Hopefully, when I do Ashtadhyayi, this computer program, if you scan these pages all the time, I'm hoping you start to get the feel of this. It's not that hard. So 3-82, it's only one stack of 4,000 lines. It's not that hard, and out of which many lines we don't need many times. So the 3-84 starts the adhikara bhute. In the bhute adhikara, Pani has sutram nishtha. One more thing I mentioned to you, the same sutram nishtha comes in Ashtadhyayi in two places. You have to be careful. One comes in the 2.2. This one comes 3.2. This says nishtha pratyaya can be used in the, when the vivaksha is bhute, in the past, in this action of the past. Now nishtha is defined in first adhyaya as taktavatu nishtha. So both are called nishtha. But this one, the kta pratyaya becomes passive. See, any krut pratyaya as a default is kartari krut. It's in the active sense. But 3-4-67, the kartari krut makes all krut pratyayas as active sense. Okay? But we don't want that. We don't want that because this hand of her was raised. It was not raising itself. She had raised it. So it's a passive form. It's a passive form. So even though the 3-4-67 says kartari krut, kartari arthe, so sarve krut pratyaha kartari arthe vartante, Tathapi apavada vartate. Apavada is that 3, 4, 70 is tayoreva krityakta kalarthaha. This pratyaya kta is tayoreva. Tayoreva means only in the sense of bhava karmanoho. Only in bhava and karma can the kta be used. The tavatu will be remain in the active sense vikartari krit. The kta will become passive by tayoreva krityakta kalarthaha. 3, 4, 70. So that is in the passive sense. It's in the past tense also. That's why they call them the past passive participles, because of the bhuti adhikara is the past, and the passive is 3, 4, 70 tayoreva krityakta kalarthaha. But I don't like that term, because many times there are apavadas which makes this pratyaya in sometimes it comes vartamana, it comes many times, and many times it is also not passive, because apavada is in 3, 4, 72 for that. Okay, so let's just stay with this term nishtha which Panini has. Now, so we used that kta pratyaya, and the question is, whenever we had this pratyam which is ardhadhatuka pratyaya, we have to look at the sutram which says the idagamaha. Ardhadhatukasya id valadehe. So these are liable to take an idagamaha if the dhatu allows it. Now, as it turns out, the dhatu yam is a anid dhatu, because in the makaranteshu, manteshu, yama, nama, gama, rama, so chatvaraha. So these are 4 dhatus. I think it's in the wrong order, but anyway, there are 4 of them, which is the gam, nam, ram, and yam. These are anid dhatus. So we have there is no idagamaha, and so let me just put this down here. So you have ud plus yam plus kta. And other one with kta only means the lashakvata jite, the ka goes away as an it, only ta remains. We require only one more sutram now, that is the 6.437. 6.437 says that anudatthopadesha vanatitanotyadinam adanasikalopaha. When it says jalikiniti. So that's 6.437. Now he's going to tell us, this is the Panini system, is he puts the blocks in place in chapters 3, 4, 5. If it's dhatu, it's going to chapter 3. And then we go to the angasya adhikaraha and do the anga karyam now. So now the moment your pratyaya means anga is created. Angam is created, it's related to pratyaya. The moment the pratyaya comes, relative to that comes the angam. And then we go to the angasya adhikara and see if anything applies there. And there we have this 6.437 which says that anudatta upadesha. So these dhatus ending in ma or na, which is anudatta upadesha, they're going to be anid dhatus. So which is going to be this yama, nama, gama, rama, and also this manahana, these 6. Then vanati, dhatu 1, tanotyadina, and also all the dhatu, the 8th gana. Anudasika lopaha. So they'll take this nasal is dropped. Jalikiniti. So that's the 6.437 will going to help us to drop that makara of yam, get it into form yata. So use 6.437 to drop the ma. Okay. Now in the alternate form which Malinatha has given, similar steps we have. We have the ud, and then we have the nam. And now we had the niche coming in here, the niche, because he has made a causative form for us, niche. And then after that we had the same pratyaya, the kta pratyaya. Now when you had the niche pratyaya coming in, we should have had the atopadhaya coming in here. Atopadhaya. Because like pat becomes pathayati. Pad becomes patayati. Now why did nam didn't become namita? Why it became namita and not namita? The reason for that is that because the sutram called mitam rasvaha. Mitam rasvaha. And mitam rasvaha said these dhatu which are marked with mers and it, they go back to being rasvaha. So the ach in that dhatu goes back to being rasvaha. So as a first step, you do get the atopadhaya. Atopadhaya is in 72116. Atopadhaya is 72116, where you have it says if the pratyaya is has the ta varga, Panchama, Chavarga Panchama is an it, then the Upadha Akara takes Vriddhi, Atopadhaya, 72116. But then Mitam Rasvaha comes and puts it back to being Rasvaha. Now, so let me just put these numbers here. So 72116, we're going to make it into, let me just copy this down. We're making Unnami, become Ud plus, I'm sorry, I didn't copy that properly. Okay, we try to copy that. Okay, so it will become Unnamita. So that would have been the form, which is of course not the right form. So then comes Mitam Rasvaha, Unnamita. This will be 72116, and then use 6492 Mitam Rasvaha to go back to make to change the num back to nam back to num. Now the dhatu nam actually does not have ma as an it. Don't confuse these two things. We want ma as an it, not the dhatu makara itself. We want a mit dhatu because mitam rasvaha. Then how did we then use the 6492? This 6492 basically is what is that these dhatus really don't have ma as an it. There is a in the bhavadi ganaha, the dhatus from gatadayaha, from the dhatu gat on the way down, they are considered as mit, because within the dhatu partha you have ganasutrani. So there are instructions in the dhatu partha, and that instruction says that from the dhatu gat all the way down, I think, to dhatu swan, these are called the mit dhatus, even though sakshat makara idrupena na vidyate, it is not there as an it. Even actually nam is not even there. But then how did nam become as an it? Because there's another Gana Sutram which says that in that same section, the Gana Sutram says that a dhatu ending in is also to be considered as a ma as an it. So dhatu gam is there, asatoma, sadgamaya, and all that. So dhatus ending in are considered as mit dhatus. So by this Gana Sutram in the dhatu patha, by the Gana Sutram in the dhatu patha, this is a little bit tricky because Panini just says mitam it, and then you're wondering, how this nam became ma as an it. See, all ammanta dhatavaha, anta dhatavaha, they are considered as mitaha. So mitaha bhavanti. So mitaha bhavanti. Okay. So actually the Gana Sutram is a bigger Sutram. I'm just giving you what we need right now for our work right now. So then we go back to namita, unnamita. And of course then you can use the yaronanasikyananasiko va become unnamita. So that's what he has done for you. Nam is to bow down. Unnam is to rise. Unnamita means made to rise.
Satish.
So she had one. Let's go back to the Vigraha Vakyam and see what he has done.
Satish.
Now we can even, yes.
Satish, we'll get an idagama and then we'll do Neraniti, right?
Oh, yes, forgot about that. Oh, yeah. Yes, Kalpesh is right. Yes. See this, when you make the dhatu nami, that nami is anekash dhatu. And in anekash dhatus or any derived dhatus, idagama nityam. Because the 7 to 10 says, Ekacha Upadesha Anudattat. So it should be Ekacha, should be in Upadeshe. So therefore, for all the derived, which is called derived dhatus, sadhita dhatus, the idagama is going to be nityam. So yes, Kalpesh is absolutely right. We need one more step. One more step here is that we should then make it the should make it ud plus nami. I'm sorry, nami. Unnami, and then actually make it ita with the idagama. And after that, this is by the, of course, the usual ardhadhatuka seed valadehe, 35. And then use the niraniti, which Kalpesh said, to remove the niche. Actually, the niche goes away. The idagama stays behind to remove the niche, to remove the niche pratyaya. So the so nich goes away, the idagama stays behind. What does 6451 say? Nehe aniti. So anidada ardhadhatuke pare ne lopasyat. If you have I'm sorry, next one, nishtayam seti is the wrong one. Sorry, nishtayam seti. Because 6451 can only be used if you have a pratyaya which doesn't have an idagama. This is always the thing which I tell you. See, I almost made a mistake right now. And the mistake I made was that I said niraniti. But always check the vritti of the sutram, what it's telling you. And when I recited that, obviously I know I had made a mistake. Because the vritti says that anidada ardhadhatuke pare ne lopasyat. Anidada. It has to be anit. Here we had idagama sakshat, so it is here. So the next sutram says nishtayam seti. Taktavatu nishtha. So the nishtha is a set nishtha. Then this also the nich will drop. Nishtayam seti. So use 6452, remove the nich, and finally get unnamita. So these two sutrams, 6451, 52, very important. If you have any nich which is followed by pratyaya which is ardhadhatuka pratyaya, it doesn't have an idagama, the nich drops. And secondly, nishtayam seti is if you have a set nishtha, also the nich drops. So 6452, remove the nich, unnamita. Thank you. That's good. So that also shows one more trick which also I mentioned many times, is just because you got the right form doesn't mean that you're done. You know, just because you got the right form doesn't mean that you're done. We had the right form here, unnamita, but as Kalpesh said, idagama had to come, the nich had to drop, then only the form was complete. Just because you got unnamita doesn't mean, you know, because it's a computer program. It's going to keep on running until and when most sutras come for application, you have to deal with them, you know. So they have to be given a chance. Okay, and it's also temptation. You got the form, so you move ahead and, you know, you're done. But, okay, so we can simplify this one a little bit over here. So we can make it is that udyata, right? Yashtihi. You can make it, actually you can even make it like this. Udyata bhuja, you could also make it. Udyata bhujam. You could also done the same compound. So udyataha bhujaha yasyaha tam would have been possible. But now there are two things coming in between. Is eka bhuja is coming in that. So eka bhuja, only one hand was raised. So that eka is compounding with bhujaha. So now eka bhuja clearly is a kramadharya compound. You know, this is not, he's not going to go and give you more detail on that, you know. He's not going to say ekascha, sav bhujascha and all that. That will not be given to you. But then between bhuja and yashtihi, it's also kramadharya compound, which is bhuja eva yashtihi. Now what kind of kramadharya compound is that? Bhuja eva yashtihi. Okay. What is called is the, actually if you really want to simplify, what I should have said was is that udyata yashtihi yasyaha tam. Udyata, because you know the karmadharya is a subset of the Tatpurusha samasas. And Tatpurushas are going to be Uttar Pradhanaha. Uttar Pradam has the Pradhanyam. So if you want to simplify Tatpurusha samasaha, which includes Karmadharyas, you can leave the Purva Padam normally as a general rule, right? We say Veera Purushaha. You can just say Purushaha and get a simplified meaning, okay? In fact, that is a test of Tatpurushas. Is can you leave the Purva Padam behind and get, you know, simplified meaning, you know? Many times between Tatpurushaha and the Bahuvrihi, this is the test, you know, that if you can leave the Purva Padam behind and get a simplified meaning referring to the correct item, just taking the Uttara Padam, then you have Tatpurusha. If you say, if you were like Mahabahuhu, no, say Arjunaha, if you just take the word Bahuhu, you will not get the meaning Arjunaha. If you're talking about the arm itself, then you can just take Bahu and it will give a simplified meaning which still refers to the correct item. So here this Bhuja eva yashtihi is the Vigraha Vakyam for a Karmadharya compound, and that Karmadharya is subset of the Tatpurushaha, and we should keep that. So the simplified Vakyam which I should have given was Udyata yashtihi yasyaha tam. So one whose stick was raised. Yashti is a stick, you know. So yashti, maybe same in English, yashti and stick. Maybe it could be the same word maybe. So Udyata yashtihi. But in between has come this Eka Bhuja. Eka Bhuja is also Karmadharya. So between and then between bhuja eva yashtihi. So that single hand was a stick. So bhuja eva yashtihi. Now, normally what happens in the karma, let's go to the karmadhara section, I'll tell you where they are. I mentioned to you many times is that if you want to make a compound, you have to find one sutram in 2.1 or 2.2 to justify the compound. Within that, from 2.1 to 2.2 is the Tatpurusha section. Tatpurusha, the adhikara goes from 2.1 to 2.2. And within that, the ending part of 2.1 is karmadharas. So ending part of 2.1. And these are both very small padas, really. I think only total 100 sutras or so for all compounds. For all compounds, in fact, I would say that you would really benefit by going through this section and keeping this section handy for you, because many people have many questions on compounds, and only 100 sutras, we can get all compounds. You have to give a lot of practice, but still, at the end of the day, you have to point to sutra and say, among these 100 or so sutras, 100 odd sutras, this is the one that is applying. Okay. So the main one is here, Visheshanam Visheshyena Bahulam. So you have an adjective noun, like, Veera Purushaha, so that is, Shveta Vahanam. So Visheshanam Visheshyena Bahulam. What do we have? We have Bhuja Yashtihi. Now Bhuja Yashtihi, the Bhuja is not an adjective. It is also a noun. So now what do? We use the Bahulam over there, Bahulam. That Bhuja is really qualifying the stick. Is called as, Avadharana Purapadam. It is kind of emphasizing that the stick is really the arm itself. This is one way out. You can use the Bahulam, because we don't have a Visheshanam. Second way out, you can also make it into Shakapartha maybe. So Bhuja Rupa Yashtihi. So if you put something in between to convert that Bhuja into an adjective, you can supply something. So that is called Shakaparthiva. When you say vegetable king, make it vegetable loving king. A computer guy. Okay, Hari has a question. Let's see, Haridasa Prichati. Shruyatam.
Yeah, Satish ji, I was wondering if when you say that Bhuja Eva Yashti, is that what they call as Rupakam in the poetic language? Rupakam, is that a metaphor? The same thing?
Generally the metaphor and similes come in the 55, 56,
Okay.
That is really big. Upama, I'm talking about Upama, is that I'm not familiar with the word, this poetics, I'm only Vyakaranam. So Rupakam,
because I was reading in this Sanskrit book by Colson, and he says that similes are Upama and metaphors where we say that X is Y. Like Bhuja Eva Yashti, I think that is, he calls it as Rupakam or metaphor. I was wondering if you are familiar with what he says.
No, but that's not a Paninian term anyway. It could be. I'll look it up. I'll look up Rupakam.
Okay.
But I think that is more not in compound formation, Hari. I think that is more when you use that in the in the shloka itself to form the when you compare them to something else in the shloka. No, I don't think that's for compounds.
Okay,
could be though. Could be. But I'll look it up. Rupakam. Okay, that's homework for me. Good. I'll look it up. See, I'm not sure if Kavya Shastram is not my domain, mainly Vyakaranam, but I'll look it up though. So now Visheshana Bahulam, I can make it Shakapartha. Radhika has a question. Yes, Radhika. Yes, Radhika.
That is Rupaka Alankara.
Alankara, but I think it's not in this compound, right? Is it? Do you think this is Rupakam?
No, it's not in the compound. It's an Alankara like Upama, Utpreksha.
Yes, correct.
Rupaka is Alankara.
It's Alankara. I don't think in compound it's going to apply to us here. But I will get more details next time. I'll look it up. Thank you. So now this the Alankara Shastram I have not studied. I have to be really honest with you. I have not studied Alankara Shastram. So these kavyas have a lot of like this this Kavya Darpana and all the the Sahitya Darpanam, and they have a lot of books on Kavyam. How these poetic devices are used. And very honestly, I have not studied those. And I only studied Vyakaranam in detail. So what I can do for you is only convert the Sanskritam to English, and then from then on, you have to take it on your own to see what what the poet is trying to say. Hopefully, when you get the English, then you can look at all the poetic devices. So Visheshana Bahulam, so that's what this Malinatha is saying over here, is that the stick, the arm itself was the stick. Now, a good example of this is going to be the Jnanamrutam. So Jnanam eva amrutam, Jnanamrutam, or Ajnana Shrinkhala. Ajnanam eva Shrinkhala. So your ignorance is your shackle, or the nectar is the knowledge. So these are these kind of words. You can either supply the word rupa in between, like bhuja rupa yashtihi, or you can just make it like this bahulam and quickly make a karmadharya. So I think Malinatha is not going to waste his time trying to do shakapartha and all that, because that should be used only if all these don't work. Okay. So only if these don't work, then you go shakaparthiva. Because shakaparthiva is a vartikam. It's not a Parni sutram, and it should not be used left and right unless you really need it. So Malinatha knows that he can make do with this Visheshanam Visheshana Bahulam, and you can make it like that, Because if you look at the word Shaka Parthiva, when you say Shaka Priya Parthiva, there was really no other way to change it. You cannot say Shaka Eva Parthiva. That doesn't work. None of these other Vigraha Vakyams work over. Then you go for Shaka Parthiva. So not over here. And finally say Yasyaha Tam. So that Yasya, when the Yat Padam is used in Vigraha Vakyam, Bahuvrihi. Bahuvrihi. So that is the Teltes and Bahuvri. In the Vigraha Vakyam, you'll have a Yat Padam being used. So she was one who had, her stick in the form of her one arm raised. So Udyata equals Unnamita, and that's qualifying the Yashtihi, and Yashtihi has Avadharana behind it. So Eka Bhuja Eva Yashtihi. And finally Yasyaha Tam. So it's Bahuvri compound. The next one is, and then finally it's become, of course, Dvitiya Vibhakti. It's an object of Vilokya. So make it Amipurvaha, add Amipurvaha, the Eka Yashti plus the Amipurvaha, Yashtim. Now Ayatim, what does Malinatha say? Ayatim equals Ayantim. As also I mentioned, if you want to keep your life simple, if you don't want to mess with too much grammar, you can just take what the commentator is saying. This works beautifully, by the way. You can even the whole Bhagavatam. You take the whole Bhagavatam and replace all the Moon Shabdas with the Sridhara Swami's Tika. The Bhagavatam has become now 80% easy for you. You just replace the words in the shloka with what the Tikakara is saying. So if you can just replace Ayatim with Ayantim. Now he's also being kind to you here. In dhatoho shatari, shatru pratyah. So when shatru is being used, shatari means in the vartamana kridante, in the present participle form, ugitascha iti gnib. Now I'm a little bit surprised over here. I'll tell you why I'm a little bit surprised. Maybe he expects us to know that, because ugitascha is really it's kind of a rule which I think most of us know. But the rule which we don't know, let's go to this form. Let's go to this form Ayatim, and I'll tell you I'm a little bit surprised why Malinatha gave that one and not the other one, which I might expect. Let's see if anybody in the class knows that. Let us see, because what we have is that I'm going to skip some steps just to make it a little bit quick. So we have dhatu, and already Malinatha told that dhatu is in gata. Okay, in gata is the second gana. Second gana means you get the adiprapratibhya shapah, shap look syat. So shap has come and taken look. Adiprapratibhya shapah. In the end of 2.4 comes this look prakaranam, and there you get the adiprapratibhya. So adiprapratibhya, meaning adadigana dhatus, the shap takes look. So shap does come and takes look. Then nalumata angasya, when you do a look, shlu, lup, no angakaryam can be done based on the pratyaya which has gone away. If you do a simple lopaha, your pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam. But nalumata angasya is when you do a look, shlu, lup, no angakaryam can be done based on the shap. Because if the shap was there, you should have done the guna for the end. We could have become A. But nalumata angasya, will give the number for that also. So adiprabhritibhya shapaha. So that comes here. Where it is, Adiprabhritibhya Shapa is number 2472. We have put in the document Adiprabhritibhya Shapaha. Very simple. So 2472. The Nalumata Angasya. Nalumata Angasya is basically like a Paribhasha Sutram. We say if you do look, shlu, lup, no angakaryam can be done based on the pratyaya which has taken the look. So Nalumata Angasya. So the E, while I'm looking that up, can anybody in the class tell me the sandhi rule between E and the at? Of course, equivalency is the first step. What's the next step? Between E and A, we want to make the sandhi now. So first rule, of course,
Invites Achish
equivalent.
Dhatu Bruvam Yor Young Wango. Although Erane Kach.
There's no Erani Kash will not help you here.
Yeah.
So now
The
Kalpesh
Inoyan.
Inoyan. Kalpesh is right. So now I would have expected Malinas to give Inoyan. Because I don't think people in the class will know that quickly. That Inoyan is a sutra specifically for Dhatu in. And it says that don't apply the Achin Dhatu Bruvam. Go make a Yan Sandhi over here. Now, maybe Malinas has a reason not to give that, but I would have given that sutram. Maybe he has given it before. Maybe we are supposed to know it on our own. There could be some reasons I should not say, because understand one thing, that the commentators have a very high level of knowledge. Okay, our knowledge is we don't even know Vyakaranam well, let alone all the Kavyam and this and that. And they also have, all people around them, those scholars who also help them. And lastly, all these tikas are also edited afterwards by many scholars. So if something is very obvious, they would have given that. But anyway, I'm saying that Inoyan is a sutram which you need over here. And it may have been nice somebody not to give us that. So let me go step by step again. First step, equivalency is the first step. Equivalency, I think you all know that, equivalency. We won't talk about 6177, okay? Now, overruling that comes the 6477, which Kalpesh pointed out, which is Achishnu Dhatu Bruvam. So your young Vangao. Very important sutram, please, very important sutram, 6477. If you have a dhatus, ikara or ukara, ivarna, uvarna, can be long or short. Then, if an ach follows, then you will get the iyang and uvang adesha respectively, iyang or uvang. So the ivarna will become iya, and the u will become uva. It's a very important sutram. Please remember this. The dhatus, not only for dhatu, but even for the word bru and the ganavikaranam shnu. But those are much less common. Just remember this much. If it's a dhatus, ivarna or uvarna, and if you're going for a atsandhi, achipare, then do not apply the other rules like akasamani dirgha, eco and achi. All those rules are overruled by this rule, 6477, which says that your young vangao. So then we have had the E become Iya. We don't want that. We don't want that. So Inoyan, which is 6481, is specific for Dhatu Yan. For Dhatu In. For Dhatu In, the Inoyan Sutram says that you go back to the if that is Dhatu In is involved. So Inahangasya Yannadesha Bhavati Achiparataha. Yan is put back for Dhatu In. So 6481 is the one that I want. Again, if you know 6477, you know you have a problem. And you can look under there and see if any apavadas are there. You'll find 6481. Or you can go to the Rupamala, Krudanta Rupamala, and there also he will give you all these rules. Okay, you should also use that reference book. Krudanta Rupamala is published by in Chennai by this the Sanskrit college over there. It's an extremely useful book. So if you look up Dhatu in under there, you will see the footnote there. Or you can go to Dhatu Vritti and you can look it up. But anyway, yes.
The Krudanta Rupmala scanned copies are available in Ajitji's SkyDrive.
Okay, thank you. So on the SkyDrive, this is there. On our tiny URL page, you can have the scanned copy of the Krudanta Rupamala, and you can look. Please use it. It's very useful, very kind of straightforward. Anyway, Inoyan is what you want. So you may not remember Inoyan, okay, but you should remember the 6477. I think all of you know Iko and Achi. What I'd like you to know is 6477. Achishnu Dhatu Bruvam. So Dhatu is the main patam because Dhatus are 2000, Bru is only one word and Shnu is only one Ganavikaranam. Then Yuvo Yangu Vangao. So please remember 6477, and so finally we get the form which is A plus Ya plus the At Yat, and then Muninatha gives us the Ugitascha. So here basically step by step is 6477, which overruled Iko and Achi. Is is overruled by the Inoyan. Okay. So now that's the reason why I'm a little bit surprised that Mulinatha did not give us Inoyan. I don't know why. I guess he expects us to know it. Because compared to Inoyan, the Ugitascha is really a straightforward sutram. All that says is that this pratyaya is uk as an it, the shatru, that r was an uk as an it in the shatru pratyaya. Then you have to make the neep to make a feminine form, ugitascha. So the striyam adhikara, I mentioned to you many times that you cannot use any feminine form in this language until it is scanned by the striyam adhikara. We start from 413 to about 4180, striyam adhikara. And the very first 2-3 sutras are very important over there. And the one that Mulinatha is giving us is ugitascha. So that's what he's telling you is that you add the pratyaya neep to make the feminine form ayati. Okay. Now, I'll also want to point out one more thing to you before we leave this one. Ugitascha 416. Anuvrutti of neep comes in. So the pratyaya is uk as in it, then put the long e, the neep, of course, halantyam and lashakvatadhyate, only so dirgha ikara shishyate, and then you become the ugitascha. You can use 416 to make it feminine. Because the Padipadam is ayat. So the ayat we had, and then we made it the ugitascha. So that part Mulinatha gave us. So that one he gave us to us. Okay. So now one more thing I want to point out to you is when you use these present participles in the Strilinga, when you have this, then you have to think of the num agama. It doesn't come for us right now because achinadyor num. I'm going to just point out these two sutras to you. They don't apply to us right now. I'll tell you why also. But for example, take the word bhavat. Bhavat becomes bhavantim. Pathat becomes pathantim. Then become patati. So then how come now how you got, so pathanti becomes the form, bhavanti becomes the form. Now how come it didn't become over here then? Why did it become ayanti? Why become only ayatim? Because that says at. At chinadyo num and shapshanor nityam. So these are very tricky sutras, 4 tricky sutras, favorite exam questions, which even I made mistakes sometimes. So these are the 7180, 81 is the at. She nadyoho. This nadi is that feminine form. That she is the neuter dual. So let's not worry about that right now. So at she nadyoho num, and it is wa. So optionally, but shap shanor nityam. So if that, so you need an avarnanta anga. You need. What do we have? We have the. What did we have? We had only the ya. Our angam for the shatru, the angam for shatru was only this ya. Yeah, we did not have an avarnanta angam. That is why we don't have any num agama over here. Okay, there's no possibility of num. But anyway, I just want to mention to you this: the moment you use a feminine form, present participle form, always check these two sutras, which is the achinadyo num and shapshanor nityam. These are also unfortunately violated in practice many times, but that's a different thing. As far as Panini is concerned, these should be used. Okay, so let's move on now. So that concludes the form ayatim. So he's telling you very nicely, in dhatoho shatari ugitascha iti nip. So try to understand what the commentator is saying. That's the objective of this class. Is basically Mulinatha is sitting with us and he's giving us this, and we have to understand what the teacher is saying, what exactly he's trying to say. Okay. Now next one comes the Shroni Lambi Purushantra Mekhalam, also Bahuvri. How do I know Bahuvrihi? Yasyahatam. Okay, Yasyahatam. Now let's see which parts he has given to us, which parts he wants us to do ourselves. So Shroni Lambini. So that part he did not give the Vigraha Vakyam. He did not give a Vigraha Vakyam. Now Shroni is like the hips. Shroni is like the hips, and Lamba is to hang around, Lamba. Shroni Lambi. Now why did he not give the Vigraha Vakyam for us for that? Because of course he expects us to find on our own. And this very famous sutram which Patyar Nini comes is that says Supya Jato Ninistachilye. Now the fact that he is not giving it to us means we should remember that this sutram we should know on our own going forward. So what Mulinatha does not give us is the one that we better be sure we understand on our own. So this should be like in our, what should I call the basic sutras, at least at this level, which we're expected to know. So what he's telling us is that he did not give a Vigraha Vakyam, because I think it's 3278, Supya Jato Ninihitachilye. So she always had this thing hanging around her waist, of the intestines of men were hanging around her waist. So I guess that's the way she was. So any supi, it doesn't have to be karma. So on her, so it's a shoni, you can say shonau, on her hip, and you can say dhatu lamb is there. So that which hangs on the hips is the shoni lambin. Shoni lambin, pratyaya is nini. In chutu, halantyam, only in remains. So this is upapada samasaha. So because the word lambin could not be used on its own, depends on that supi being there. So 3278, we had the form shoni lambin. And then from that, he has made shoni lambini. Lambini, what he's making is that the shoni lambin when we had, then he's making it the neuter plural, shoni lambini. Is there a typo there, by the way? Shoni lambin. Because look at the next word, purushanam antrani. So antrani is a neuter nominative plural form. So we know neuter nominative plural form. So I think let me check the other book which I have, because that shoni lambini should have been a plural form. The way we have it here, plural form should be short e ending. Lambini. Okay, let me check what I have in this book. This book might have some typos. Shoni lambini. Lambini. Lambin is Padipadikam. Lambini. Purushanam Antrani. In fact, this book also has Lambini. So is that what is anybody in the class? What's going on here? Shoni Lambin Pratipadikam. That's pretty obvious. So Shoni Lambini looks like a dual form, doesn't it? This other book which I have doesn't have any typos in there, many typos. So, okay. Because it's clearly qualifying the Antrani. Because it's clearly qualifying the Purushanam Antrani Eva Mekhala Yasya Hatam. So that Shoni Lambini is qualifying the, because if you look at the word like Bhavin, right, becomes Bhavi, Bhavini, Bhavini. So Bhavini. So, but this other, anybody has a Raghuvamsham book? Can we check this one? Shoni Lambini, because I don't see this long E coming at the end of Shoni Lambini.
Sadhiji, I checked in this book. It is same.
So what's going on here? Is it a dual form?
Is it dual?
Look at the ending, Lambini.
It will be like Ushana Bhoji.
Bhojan Pratipadikam, right?
Yeah.
So Shoni Lambin Pratipadikam. Disqualifying Antrani, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I know what happened. Okay. I think I know what happened. Okay, what's happening here, it is not qualifying Antrani. It's qualifying Mekhala. It's qualifying Mekhala. Okay, I take it back. Because, the mistake I made was that the next, even though he says the Antrani eva Mekhala, it's qualifying Mekhala, not the Antrani. Okay. Now, why is that? In fact, let's talk about it for a second. The reason I was making that mistake is Antrani eva Mekhala. So that Antrani, this is also the same kind of compound as Bhuja eva Yashtihi. See, in the last compound, what did we have? Udyata equals Unnamita Yashtihi. That Bhuja eva is coming in between that. Doesn't break that connection with Yashti. Same thing over here. Shoni Lambini Mekhala. It's qualifying Mekhala. It's a feminine singular form, not a neuter plural form. Because neuter plural will not give Lambini. So this is like Yogini kind of form. I mean, in terms of declension, So the Shoni Lambini is a feminine singular form qualifying Mekhala. And inside that it is coming in this Karmadhara is being formed. So first of all, you make it Purushana Mantrani. So that's one unit. Put a bracket around that. So the Purushana Mantrani is a Shashti Tat Purushaha, Uttar Pradhanaha. So Purushanam has not been accounted for. The Purushanam can be now left out because we already did the Purushana Mantrani. Purushana Mantrani, we already made that. The Purusha Uttar Pradhanaha. Uttar Pradhana, it is there. So now we can only talk about Antrani. Antrani means like internals. Antrani internals. I think means intestines, I think in this case. And then Antrani eva Mekhala. So this is also Uttar Pradhana. So finally only Mekhala remains behind. Purushanam is by Shashitat Purushaha. Antrani eva Mekhala Karmadharyaha. Only Mekhala remains now. So in fact we could have simplified the whole thing by saying, Shoni Lambini Mekhala. We could have said that. But of course the main thing is that she had this Mekhala, and Mekhala is this girdle, this waistband. So her waistband was in the form of the intestines of men. That was her waistband. So Purushana Mantrani eva Mekhala. So Shoni Lambini is qualifying Mekhala, and Yasya Hatam is the Bahuvri finally. Now what really has happened is the word Mekhala is a feminine word, and the whole Bahuvri is also a feminine word. So you do not see Linga Parivartanam na drishyate, because it didn't change the Lingam, because it ended up being like Sita again. So I mean Sita was Shabdaha, Lata was Shabdaha. So but it's a Bahuvri compound. So one more time, Shoni Lambini was a Upada Samasaha, Purushanam Antrani clearly Shashitat Purushaha, Antrani eva Mekhala, it'll be a Avadharana Purapada Karmadharyaha. Finally make a Bahuvri out of that, and we Yasya Hatam. So these are two adjectives for her. Now what do you see after that? Now comes his commentary on that. This is his own commentary now. So why is the Kalidasa giving these two Visheshana? So Visheshana Dvayena. So the Visheshana Dvayasya Kim Prayojanam is Ko-abhiprayaha. So he says, Iti Visheshana Dvayena api Atatayitvam Suchitam. That she was a desperado. Atatayitvam is, that, people who cause trouble is called Atatayin. So, Atatayitvam Suchitam. And that is a justification for Rama killing a woman, is what he's saying. Is that she was a desperado, because she was coming with like that, attacking him with this, her hand raised in the form of a stick, and she was clearly, she had killed many people already, so she was wearing this mekhala in the form of the intestines. So, iti visheshana dvayena api atatayitvam suchitam. So that was suggesting that Kalyas is saying that tasmat karanat granam mumocha, is he gave up this pity because she doesn't qualify to be for pity anymore. Now we did this part. Let's look at the last part also. Is, by the way, let me just qualify this one. Patri ropa ishur dvayo. What is this dvayoho in our kosha? This issue is used in the silinge pullinge api vartate. Tasmat dvayohiti uchyate. This issue, this dvayoha means it's in both genders, because this is our kosha will give also the lingam of each shabda. Okay, when he says dvayoho, it means that pullinge silinge api vartate. That is the. Whether Amar Kosha, the one Amar Kosha published by the Nirnay Sagar Press in Mumbai, it is also reprinted by Chaukamba, and one more Amar Kosha printed by the Adyar Library. The Adyar Library has a good Amar Kosha which has been printed out. It's also good Amar Kosha. There's some different commentaries on that, and also very detailed and very nice Amar Kosha is there by Adyar Library. So these are two good Amar Koshas with commentaries that at least there are many commentaries Amar Kosha. Many commentaries are there. Okay, these two ones I happen to have these two. Okay, so Momocha is Muktavan, so it's in the past tense. This is a lit lakara, make it easy for you. Now, next he's saying is Atatayi Vadhe, Manu. So Manusmriti. What does Manu say? Is that Manu says, comes in the next page. I have to go to the next page now. I'm sorry. He says in Manusmriti chapter 8, number 350, he says, Atatayinam Ayantam. If a desperado is coming, Hanya Deva, should definitely kill him. Avicharayan. So Purushaha Hanya Janaha. Avicharayan Hanya Deva Atatayinam Ayantam. So without thinking, don't think. He's coming, kill him. is that if somebody is coming with the intention of killing, so jighamsantam is hantum icchantam. This dhatu han gives the form jighamsa. Jighamsa means hantum ichha. So jighamsati hantum ichhati. We won't go through all the rules, we'll take up the whole class. I'll just give you some rules of that, how it became that. In fact, while I'm doing that, people in the class can raise their hands and give me some rules, how the han plus the sananda pratyaya have become jighamsantam. So jighamsat pratipadikam. This is the present participle. Jighamsantam. Jighamsiyat. So this is a revealing prayer. So icchet, hantum icchet. So one should desire to kill one who himself is a desire to kill. Tena brahmaha, no tena brahmaha bhavet. So you don't get the papa of brahmatya. Brahmanatya, you don't get that. If he's a atatayinam jighamsantam. No atatayi vadhe dosho hantur bhavati kaschana. So in regard to killing an atatayin, there is no defect, there is no fault of the killer. Of course, this is what Manu is saying. So this is what he's justifying. Because the problem here is that, not problem, issue here is that, which of course has been discussed at great length, and this is not the focus of this class. We're doing Vyakaranam over here. But how did Rama kill Tadaka when she was a woman? That's the whole problem. That's the whole issue. So then they are justifying differently. Let's not go into a discussion because that's beyond the scope of this class. But Vyakaranam only wise, I want to point out a couple of things is there. And Hatvaita Natatayinaha, Tasma Narha Vayamatum comes in chapter 1 of Gita, right? So all these slokas are quoted in chapter 1 of Gita because Papam eva ashayadasman hatvaita natatayinaha. So Arjuna claims that killing atatayins will get papam. So, there also they go into all these arguments about, all these arguments about how atatayin can be killed and this and that. Just in chapter number 1, Papam eva ashayadasman hatvaita natatayinaha tasman narha vayamantum dhatrashtan sabandhavan. Towards the end of first adhyaya comes the word Papam eva ashayadasman hatvaita natatayinaha. Let me see if I can quickly find it for you. Move ahead. Tasmanar. Okay, here it is. Hatvaitan atatayinaha. So Arjuna says that only sin would come to us by killing these desperados. Hatvaitan atatayinaha. Okay. Anybody in the class? How are we doing this from Jigam Santam? Anybody give me some sutras for Jigam Santam? Okay, I'll get you started. The dhatu is han. Pratyaya is san pratyaya. We have to form a derived dhatu, but we won't spend the whole class and just give the numbers because it's not a part of the shloka, it's only in the commentary. So in 317, Panini talks about dhatoho karmanaha samana kritakad ichchayam va. So when the kratu has an ichcha of to do something for himself do something. So hantum ichchati jighamsati, right? So moktum ichchati mumukshati. So this all is jnatum ichchati jijñasati. These are very common. So kartum ichchati chikirshati. These are very common forms, and so we have to understand. It comes in Gita also. It comes in Gita. Yodhum ichchati yutsate. So yotsyamanana veksheham, right? So yutsavaha. That's why I think the very first sloka, right, of Gita. So there is yutsavaha. Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. So these are very, very common forms. So I want to give you some basic sutras to hopefully tackle them. Okay, because here in the Gita you have some of this. Yutsa in the very first sloka of Gita. How about that? Yutsava. Of course, that's a noun form, an adjective form. The dhatu was yuyutsa. Yuyutsate. One more thing about the sanantas is that, not going into too much detail, is that there is a sutram in 1.3, Pani says, is that Purovat Sanaha. When a sananta dhatu is created, we don't know where to use Atmane Padam or Parasmay Padam. See, dhatu pada dhatus we have, the Vyavastha. But when you have the Sadhisa dhatu, what do we do? And as I mentioned to you before, I mentioned to you again, is if before you can decide to use Atmane Padam or Parasmay Padam, you have to check 1.3 Nashtadhyay. 1.3 from 1.3.12 to end of 1.3, Pani tells us when to use Atmane Padam, when to use Parasmay Padam. In that he has one Pani has one sutram, he says Purvat Sanaha. So whatever was the padam of the dhatu which was the shuddha dhatu, the sananta will take the same padam. So with the yud savaha, should be yud sate, not yud sati, because dhatu yud is yudjate, is atmanepadam dhatu. So Vasu is welcome. Welcome Vasu. I hope I didn't make any typos while you were not there. You can tell Vasu corrects all the typos. See, I know he was coming late today. Anyway, he's here now. So welcome Vasu. You can look at my document. If I made any typos, please let me know. So Yud Savaha. So this is the Sananta form. Okay, let's try to thrash this one a little bit. What, anybody in the class, give me some sutras of how we can deal. We want to get from the, okay, let me put like this. Right now we're talking about the form Jigham Sati. Okay, so let me put that here, and let's see how many steps. This is what I'm telling you before. Even if you don't know all the rules, if you can at least get some feel about where to get from where. Jigham Sati, is, so the dhatu is the derived root is Jigham Sa. That root, and I'm going to give you one or two pointers, where you can try to recognize these a little bit fast, So Jigham Sa. First of all, of course, the pratyaya is sun. The pratyaya is sun. So sun means halantyam. The pratyaya is sa with the akara. The sakara with the akara is the pratyaya. Pratyaya is sa. Jigham Sa. So we want to start with han plus sa, actually sun anubandha lope sa. So, and halantyam, and we want to get to the form Jigham Sa. Okay, so now let's try to do, so first thing, anybody besides Kalpeji, get me started on this one. What do I need to do first? Okay, the first thing is that, remember this, I talked in the beginning of the class, that Panini says when abhyasa is required. Did Hari's hand was up? Was Hari's hand up? No, okay, it's not. Okay, and one of the was Sanyangoho. Sanyangoho, Panini says that when you have the Sananta Prayogaha or Yanganta Prayoga, means what's called as a desiderative frequentative form. Like Pepi Yamana Muda, like in Bhagavad Gita in the Mangala Charanam, Pepi Yamana Buddha. So that if you have frequentative form, which are not so frequent, the frequentatives are not so frequent. The frequentative means that the action is done frequently, or the desiderative form, which are more frequent. And then you have to do the abhyasa. So below we have talked about these 4 sutras which we talked about today. In lit we did the abhyasa in lit. We used this one, litidhasana abhyasasya. Then sanyang goes the next sutra. So this is a shashti bhakti now. Liti was a saptami. When lit follows, dhatu takes abhyasa. Sanyang goes a shashti. Is that we'll go into details today because it's too much for this class, but just take my word for it right now. The sanyango is a shashti. So the dhatu with the san pratyaha, the entire thing takes abhyasa, sanyango. So now what we have to do, of course, we're going to get the haladi shesha. So that only the pratama ekacha bhaga takes abhyasa. So we're going to make the, I'm not going to put the, what should I put the numbers? I guess, okay, 619. The 619 is the one which does the abhyasa for us. 619. So we do the okay. Let me see. So we had the han plus sa. So that is the prathama ekacha bhaga. Okay. Plus, because only the first ach takes abhyasa, and on either side the consonants go with it. So the akara of the han is the first ach in the hansa. In hansa, that only the first akara, the hakara uttaravarti akara, that takes abhyasa. And from this side the ha goes with it, and the na sa goes with it on the right hand side. We got hansa plus hansa. Haladi sheshaha. So in 619, I think, right? 619. Haladi sheshaha. That nurse goes, so we have her han, we have got hansa. We're going to get by haladi sheshaha. I won't put those numbers because we did them many times now. So we'll just do the her hansa is what we got now, her hansa. Now remember this, that kuhosh chuhu which I talked about in abhyasaha. In abhyasaha, the kavarga and the hakara become chavarga. Kuhosh chuhu. The beginning of the class, I gave you these 4 sutras which you should try to remember in abhyasa. So pradhanya abhyasa karyani. In that you have the kuhosh chuhu. So now what's going to happen is that the ha is going to become j, by kuhoschu. This all comes in end of 7.4. I think 7.4, I think 62, I think is what the number is. So right around there. So we're going to get j. We're going to just be coming into j, han. And then comes the Abhyase Charcha in 8.4. When you go to Abhyase Charcha, even though we should wait to do that till the Tripadi Karyam is done, we should not go to Tripadi until the Padam is formed, but nothing is going to stop it. So I'm going to do it right now, even though we should technically be waiting. But see, nothing stops that. We can do it right now. Abhyase Charcha becomes Ja. So now we are getting there now. We're slowly getting there. At least we got the Ja plus Han. Now comes one Abhyasa rule, which is for sanantas only. Okay, and this is the one I want you to point out to is sanyataha. Sanyataha. Sanyataha says that this, but even before we go to sanyataha, let me point out that the dhatu han is anid dhatu. Always check when you have a pratyaya which is valadi, which is ardhadhatukam, then always check the idagamaha because of ardhadhatukasya id valadehe. The dhatu han. So in man and han, these two dhatus ending in nakara, in nanteshu, so there are two dhatus only, and this is one of them. So this is no idagama. You should always check that first. Okay. Then the sun can also cause a guna, but there is no guna possible. Dhatu is han, there is no guna possible here. Now sanyataha. This is one I want you to remember for today. Sanyataha. Why do I mention that? Because this you can quickly recognize the sananta forms by sanyataha. Like chikir shati, So jidnyasati, pipasati. So you can quickly recognize these sananta forms by sanyataha. What is this sutram saying? That sunny, when you have the abhyasa of the in the sananta program, ataha, you get for the short a, it takes the it from anurutti of e comes from here, bhriyamit. So in the abhyasa of sun, the akara becomes ikara. Okay. So now let's look at this for a second. If you had a long a or short a, first you're going to get rasvaha, sanyataha, it's going to become e. Of course, if you had e to begin with, it also will stay as e only. Now, if we had ru to begin with as the vowel, then you have urat coming in first. That urat says that the ru becomes a, again sanyataha. So even if you had ru, like in dhatu kru, becomes chikir shati. So urat, the ru becomes a, uran rapara haladi sheshaha, and again sanyataha. So the bottom line is that in the abhyasa of sun, we can only have e or u. Because if it's a u, of course it will stay as u, nothing you can do with that. But if it is a, it's sanyataha. If it is e, of course it stays as e. If it is ru, you get the urat, and then again sanyataha becomes e. So if you do not have e or u in the abhyasaha, it is not going to be sananda program. Very simple as that. And if you do have e or e in the abhyasa, and the dhatu has no e, like when we say jidnyasati, right? So dhatu is nya. You got it from jidnyasati. And by looking at the e in the abhyasa alone, you can tell this probably is going to be sananda program. And of course the sa also is present there. If you have the e in the abhyasa, and if you have the sa over there, that is enough for you to guess it's going to be sananda program. Without going through all the rules. That's why when I'm saying, when we saw this thing which Malinatha had given us, which is the Jigham Santam, you look at the Abhyasa, it has an E. Look at the Sakara coming over there. So this now tips you off that this is probably going to be a Sananta Prayoga. So remember the simple rules. So the most important rule today for Sananta is, you have to remember, because we have not done in detail Sananta forms as yet, but the Sananta, Sanyataha is the main sutram there, Sanyataha. Remember, tag that one, Sanyataha. And that comes as special Abhyasa Karyam only for the Sanantas. And that's 7479, Sanyataha, which that I'll put in the document here. So 7479 is the one, and let me highlight that for today, 7479, okay? And now remaining, I'll just quickly tell you a couple of rules. We won't go in how we get the rest of the forms. So now that's going to make it into the, I'm sorry, I used the wrong color. Let me see. I'm sorry, let me try to get there. Anyway, I'll fix this later. This is, I did something wrong here. Let me see. Let me take this one. Now we want to change the, let me get this back to normal. color. And so 7479, I think was that, right? 79. I got the yellow color going now. Okay, I think I know what I did. I put the wrong thing. I put the. Okay, so let me highlight that. Ooh. Right. No color. Let me see. Text color black. Okay, let me start again. Let me put the 7479 over here. 7479 7. No, still don't have it. Okay, let me try that. The text color is black. This one is here. Let me start from here. Let me do 7479. Okay, 7479. And let me try to highlight that this time correctly. Sanyataha is what we want. Now what we need is that we need to make the ha into gha. See, the abhyasa, when the hakara of han follows an abhyasa. So first of all, let me apply 7479, and now we're going to get the form the G Han Sa is where we are right now. We have the G. Let me remove the highlighting now. G Han Sa. G Han Sa. So now what happens is that after that we need to make the hakara of Han into gha. So that one we will. I'm sorry. Let me remove that. We need this in Abhyasa. Abhyasacha Sutram is there. Abhyasacha Sutram says that we will when the hakara of Han follows an Abhyasa, it becomes Gha. So when you have G plus then I'll give you the number there. Will become Gha and then become Na and then become Sa. Now we need only one more rule we need, which is, first let me give you this sutram that Abhyasa. So this comes in 7.3. The following in Abhyasa, the hakara of Han becomes Gha. So following Abhyasa, the Abhyasa of, the hakara of Han becomes Gha. This Kutva was called in 7.3, Pani has Kutva Prakranam. Kutva means when it becomes Kavarga Adeshas. Start from this 7.352, Chajoho Kughinyatoho, and here we have Abhyasa Achva Dhatu Han. So 7.355, we change the thing to the Gha. And finally, we have a sutram in 6.4. We'll make the Dirgha for us. And that one is in 6.4. So a lot of rules. See this. That's why I'm telling you that in forming these verbal forms, it gives you great practice of the Ashtadhyayi engine, is how to go to different places and pick up different rules. You can really practice the best. The sutram is 6.4.16. Ajjanagamam Sani. So any ajanta, or if you have the dhatu han, which is what we have right now, ajjana is sandhi in the sutram, a sandhi has been done. Ajjana gamam sani. So dhatu han, if you have, you get the upada dirgha. So become jighan. So 6.4.16 finally. Then of course you do the naschapana sajali, make the anuswaraha. So then apply the 6.4.16 to then finally get the form. We will get the G plus Ghan, and then you get the Sa, and then when you go to the Tripadi, you will apply the Naschapad, the Jali becomes Jighan, Sa and Jighan Santam. So this is what is given, the commentary is what he has given here, is that this is not Manusmriti, this is not Malinatha, so Manusmriti. So Jighan Santam, so Jighan Sat, Jighan Siyat, so that is a Vidling Pragaha. So Jighan Santam, Jighan Siyat. Na tena brahmaha bhavet. So one should, if someone is coming with intention to kill, one should desire to kill him, but they don't get the brahmatya. So that is what they're taking. So we got the whole shloka now. Let me quickly see. Did we get everything? Udyate ekavajya yashtim. Okay, I think we got everything. Okay, who wants to do the translation for me? I think Vasu, let's welcome Vasu. Let's see Vasu can do it. Even though he wasn't here for the class, but let us. Vasu, you're there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, let's try Vasu. So let's try this one. It says, one long staff-like arm held aloft. That's that udyata means raised. We went here for the class. I guess not fair to you. We're not here for the class.
That's like a udyata.
Udyata
eka bhujaya
Bhuja yashtim. I don't know where you got the long. That long I'm not seeing there. So anyway, maybe I guess.
Uddaitaka, I think he's taking it for
No,
raised.
Udyata is aloft. That we got that. Udyata is aloft. We got that
Yeah.
part. Ekabhuja is single arm.
Yeah.
Yashtim. So maybe he has supplied it. Maybe he might have supplied that. Maybe so. Yashtim. Maybe the yashtim maybe is taken as a long long staff. I guess long staff.
Held aloft should be Uddaita, right?
Udyata.
Udyata.
Udyata is held aloft, correct?
Held off.
And the arm is the bhuja, and the staff like is the that's in the compound we saw that bhuja eva yashtim. So we saw that in actually really the staff in the form of the arm, the staff which was the arm itself. The long, I think we'll take long staff as yashtim itself. That's what I can think of. As qualifying the tadakam, and a girdle of men's entrails hanging about her hips. So next word, right? That's the word after that.
Purushantra Mekalam.
Shoni lambi.
Shoni Lambi.
Shoni lambi purushantra mekhalam. Okay, so let's go inside this. So shoni is the hip really, and lambin is the upapada samasaha, means hanging. Purusha, of course, is men's. Antra is the entrails, intestines, and mekhala is the girdle. Because that. As Rama saw her thus. So
Tam Vilokya.
and Raghavaha.
Raghavaha.
He at once let fly his shaft. I don't see the word at once, but he let fly. What is that let fly? Mumocha. Released. Mumocha.
Oh, okay.
Released. And really he says his staff, it really should be his scruples with his staff. What is scruples is? Granam.
Grana.
And with his staff would be Patrina Saha, with his staff. And then about slaying a woman, which is the
Vanitavadi.
Vanita Vade, and we saw Nimitta Saptami, Vishaya Saptami. That's how we got the word about. Because this Vishaya Saptami is that Nimitta Saptami in reference to, about. So Vanita Vade Granam, the scruples about slaying a woman. I think we got everything. Okay, let's just start the next shloka. We'll finish next time. Let's just keep. I hope it's a little bit easier for you. I hope as we go along. At least some parts. I hope you're getting. So the next. Thank you. The next shloka says Yat Chakar Vivaram Shilaghane Tadakorasi Saramasayakaha Apravishta Vishayasya Rakshasam Dvarata Magamaddantakasya Tatta. So Yat Chakar Vivaram Shilaghane Tadakorasi Saramasayakaha Apravishta Vishayasya Rakshasam Dvarata Magamaddantakasya Tatta. So Yat Chakara Vivaram Shilaghane Tadaka Urasi is a compound. Tadaka Urasi becomes Adgunaha. Tadaka Urasi Saha Ramasayakaha is a Padacheda. Again, you know Sutram why Saha doesn't become so Ramasayakaha, because remember this Esha and Saha, they drop that su, the sakara of the su, Halipare. So that is, barring some rare exceptions, these etad and tad, I think 64132, which Vasu knows because he wrote the email. 64, I think, no, 120, I gave the wrong number. 61132. In all these Sandhi Prakaranam, 61 comes this sutram. It says etat tadoho. Etat tadoho sulopaha. Basically hali. So 132. Etat tadoho sulopo akoranyang samase hali. This akoranyang samase, you can forget about it. Just remember this much. Etat tadoho sulopaha hali. So these conditions are very rare. So any hal follows. The sakara of the su following etad and tad means esha and saha, it drops. Okay. So that's 64132. Ramasayaka kli ramasya sayakaha. Ramasayakaha. Apravishta vishayasya of the compound. So we're going to see the Vigraha Vakyam coming down there. Rakshasam dwaratam agamat. The form agamat is lung lakaraha. I told you many times this adagama comes in 3 lakaras only. Which ones are they? Lung lang rung shudadattaha. So lung, lung, rung, shodadataha. So lung, lung, and rung. In the rung, you have a sya in between there. We have the form agamat. In agamat, you have three choices. Ad agam dhatu clearly is gum. We have the ad agama, means that below before agamat. It comes in the lung, lung, or rung. If you want to make a good guess now, the rung would have a sya in there. We don't have any sya pratyaya. In agamat, we don't have any sya. So it cannot be rung. Rung also is very, very rare. Remaining is only lung and lung and lung. Now in the lung, you will get the same angam that you get in the lat lakara. What does gum become? Gum become gacchati. It should be in agachat. So agachat is the lung form. So this is not lung lakara. So without knowing any rules for lung lakara, because lung is a complicated form which has many, many variations. What you want to do, if you know the dhatu, check the lung form, which is easy, because you know most of you know the lat lakara form. Gum becomes gacchati, you all that know that. Ishyami gamam cha. We'll go to sutram next time. But gum becomes gacchati. You don't have gaccha. So this cannot be lung. So agamat has to be a lung lakara form. Look at the ending, agamat, the ta is there. So it's going to be a third person, singular, prasnipadam, lung form. You should recognize without even going into more details. You should know that. Agamat. Why? Because it cannot be lung because siya wasn't there. Cannot be lam because gaccha wasn't there. So it has to be lung. So agamat. Antakasya tat. Now this is a yat tat construct. Yat tat construct. So Ramasayakaha yat vivaran chakara. Tat vivaram. He says Antakasya dvaratam agamat. Now this is also one thing in this language is that, it goes to a certain state. Of course, Bhagavad Gita, right? Klaibyam masmagam of partha. Naitatva yupapadyate. Don't go to important C, what Lord Krishna says. Oh Arjuna, don't go to important C. No, in English you never say that. You will never say don't go to important C. See, don't be important, that's what you'll say. Don't be unmanly. But in Samskritam you say, Klaibyam masmagam of partha. So, dvaratam agamat. It went to the state of becoming the door. It became the door. It's what it means. So, dvaratam means the state of a door. Dwara is, of course, the door. Same in English, right? Dwara and door. So, dwara become, dvaratam means the doorness, the state of a door. And agamat. So, that, vivaram is like a hole, like a tunnel or a hole. The hole which was made by Rama's arrow that went to the state of a door. Means it became the door, basically. It became the door. So that's what it's saying. And whose door? Antakasya. Yamasya, Dharmarajasya. It became the door of Yama to Yamaraja. For whom? And what kind of Yamaraja was he? Rakshasam apravishta vishayasya. Who had so far not entered the domain of Rakshasas. Yamaraja was kept out by Ravana. He could not enter the domain of Rakshasas. But this one opened the door for Yama to come in, basically. So this whole, which the Ramasayaka is the Rama Bana, the arrow of Rama, made a hole. The hole which it made. So yad vivaran chakara. Hapko dhatu kuru because chakara. And where it made the hole is Tadako Rasi. On the breast, on the chest of Tadaka, that hole which was made by Rama's arrow. What kind of chest? Shilaghane. Shilaghane urasi. Shilaghane is what, like Meghashyama. Shila iva ghanam. Is Shila iva ghanam. So Shilaghane, like I said, this we'll go to Sutram next time. It's a Karmadhara, it's a special kind of Karmadhara compound. It was dense, it was hard, like a stone. So on Tadaka's chest, which was hard like a stone. So Shila iva ghanam, Shila ghanam. If I look at he gives, Malinatha gives Shilavad ghane. So Megha iva Shamaha. So Shilavad ghane he gives. Means Sandre, he also gives Sandre. It was very dense. Sandre means very dense. Opposite of Viralam. Viralam is very, very, I guess porous. Sandra means dense. So Sandre. So it was very hard chest. That hole which Rama's arrow made, that hole went to the status of a door. Means it became the door. It became the door for Yama, for Yamaraja. Yamaraja who had so far not entered the domain of the Rakshasa. So that's the meaning. Apavishta Vishya is going to be Bahu. We'll see it next time, Okay, I think we'll stop on time. So if you, I don't want to start the grammar because we'll take, but for home, okay, let me give some homework maybe. Let's see. Do you have the form Chakara, please? Because you know the Abhyasa rules now. You should be able to do the Urat and the Kuhosh, Chihu. Maybe let's mention 5 the rules you do for them for homework, okay, practice. So the Chakara, this you can kru, Pratyaya is null. You do the Achodnyati Vriddhi, Uran Raparaha, become Kara, and the Abhyasa Karyam Urat, Haladi Sheshaha, Uran Rapara, Haladi Sheshaha, and then Kuhosh, Chihu, okay. Then, of course, here, if this Tada chorus is only the Yan Sandhi, we have that. Rama Sayakaha. If you want, derive the form Sayakaha. Dhatu is Sho Antakarmani. Sho. Dhatu Adeshasaha. And then you have the Nul Truchau. The Pratyaya is Nul, becomes Aka. And the Yuk Agama comes by the Ato Yukchin Kritoho. The Sho is to make an end. Comes in Gita. Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Rekhe Kurunandana. Samyuk Vyavasito Hisaha. Gita Shlokas, So Vyavasatmika Buddhi, I think, is second adhyaya. Vyavasatmika Buddhi Ekhe Kurunandana Bhushaka Nantascha Buddhaya Vyavasayinam. So Vyavasaya. Vyavasaya, you know what Vyavasaya, I think many of you know. So Vyavasaya means like a resolution. So Vyavasatmika Buddhi, resolute mind. So try to draw from Sayaka if you can. Use the Pratyaya Nul becomes Aka, and you get, of course, the Adesh Upadesha Shiti, the Sho becomes Sa. And then the Ato Yukchin Kritoho, if you can try to practice on your own, try to do that. And then read the commentaries is fairly easy. He's given the what Vishaya means, the various means of Vishaya, what they could mean. He's given us that you can take that. Otherwise, there's not much commentary on that, And he makes, what is his final word on this is that Iyam Prathama Raksho Mritir Iti Bhavaha. So this was the first death, first casualty of the demons. Means the door of Yama opened up, means that it was the first casualty of the demons. That's what it means. Okay, let's stop with that. Stay back for questions. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Vijay Ramena Bhyata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhutame Bho Ramama Muddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane Sri Rama Nama Varanana Onnama Iti. Okay, any questions?